Welcome to the Albertapreneur Podcast, where we celebrate self-employment in Alberta. I'm your host, Jason Bacon. I'm an author, founder, and longtime lover of entrepreneurship. Through my career, I've been able to advise hundreds of self-employed individuals across the province, and I've always been inspired by their stories. That's where the podcast comes in. We're going to be digging into the stories of those people, and in particular, the graduates of the self-employment training program. For those who don't know, this is a program in partnership with the province of Alberta as well as the government of Canada, and it provides training and support to entrepreneurs who are unemployed or underemployed. And if you qualify for funding, it won't cost you anything but time. You may even receive funding while you take it. In particular, this podcast is focused on the graduates of the ExecuServe Plus training program in Lethbridge. They've been graduating entrepreneurs for more than 20 years and continue to do so. Something that I always say, and is the lesson of my book, Entrepreneur-ish, is that entrepreneur is a verb, not a noun. It's not a title, but a set of actions. And it's in that spirit that we're talking about the stories and actions of the people around you who have taken that leap of faith and tried to make it on their own. Let's get to it. All right, this week we are having a conversation that we were kind of laughing a little bit beforehand. It might be the one podcast that goes a little bit long because when Denise and I get going, there's no, I don't think, stopping us when it comes to conversation. And I'm really excited for it. And I'm excited because not only is this an entrepreneur that's been through the program, but her and I actually went through it together and experienced it at the same time. And seeing her and her business grow and just her as an individual, she's very inspiring. I've always found, and there's a reason that I wanted to kind of stay connected with her. This episode title is called The Shoe Nicorn, and I'm very pleased to have Denise with us today. Denise, welcome to the Albertapreneur Podcast.
Thank you. You're very kind, Jason.
Don't tell anybody.
Our secret.
Yeah, our secret.
Our secret on a podcast.
Yeah, that we're going to release to the public. So thanks again for being here. And I think that you have just a great spirit when it comes to entrepreneurship and understand a side of it that a lot of people sometimes struggle with. And so I'm excited to have you in to talk a little bit about that. So in the spirit of that, and in the spirit of The Shoe Nicorn, which might be the cheesiest title we have so far, but I love it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell us a little bit about, even the why, like, you decided to go and take the self-employment training program. Where were you before that? And what made you want to take that leap of faith?
Well, as you know, I was, sometimes it's hard to talk about. I was in a challenging place before this all happened. I was a single mom raising 3 kids. I made it through that as best as I could. My youngest son had some health problems and some mental health issues. And I worked through everything I could with the help of my parents. In 2013, my mom passed away, and that hit me quite hard. It took away from some of who I was in the biggest way possible. Mm-hmm. Everything I knew about myself and my life at that point really just redefined. I had to become a new person. And it took me about 5 years and a super depression to figure that out. And I was just getting on board with life when I found out my dad had lung cancer. And he told me when he thought I was in a better space, which I obviously was compared to when I first lost my mom. And within a year and a half, we lost him. And that was in 2018. And in 2019, I did everything I could to get my feet back under me. I lost the two, I lost the 2 most important people in my world. And they were my support for raising those kids. They were my support in life. They were the ones that gave me life. So yeah. I found myself in a very new place. And then it became all about self-care, building myself back into who I'm going to be now that these 2 great influences in my life have been removed from my life. They're still with me, they're still a part of me, but they're no longer here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And 2019 was quite pivotal for me. My oldest had already moved out. My two younger kids felt I was spending too much time with my dad while he was passing. Um, just a little FYI in hindsight, that has
Yeah.
changed and those relationships have improved, but they both moved out at the same time. And so I found myself as a single person, not just a single mom. And it was focus on self care, focus on who I am, what I want, where I'm going. Entrepreneurship had no room in my life at this time. I went to travel. I took off and I found a plane and I went to Brazil. I went to Chicago. I found myself in Belize. I loved it in Belize. It was
Yeah.
the most life changing time I could imagine. I found my happy, I found my peace, I found my calm. And that set me up for what was to come next. January of 2020 is when I came back from Belize. And I was not working at the time. I was previously, I worked at a dog daycare. I was a trainer there. And so I ended up coming back from Belize, no job, no kids, no parents, little inheritance. And then in February, we heard all this talk about a coronavirus and, COVID and stuff like this. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but let's just focus on, have fun, enjoy life, do what I got to do. And March 6th of 2020, everything changed for me. Everything was starting to change for everybody. My youngest son was dropped off on the door of my house without any notice. My ex was done trying to care for him and realized he didn't have what it took.
Mm-hmm.
And then within a week, everything was shut down and in lockdown. And that made my son, my youngest, was type 1 diabetic, and he ended up, back on my doorstep. I didn't have his Alberta healthcare. I didn't have a doctor in place. I didn't have anything, and the
Oh
world
gosh.
shut down. Yes, yeah. So it was a struggle. So I found myself going through COVID with more challenges than I ever expected. I won't say than most because everybody had their own challenges.
Mm-hmm.
In December of 2020, I lost my son and he had passed away. And that crushed me. And I pushed forward. It's all you can do. It's all you can do. And
Yeah, and how do you do that, Denise? Like you and I think if I haven't said it, like I have so much respect for your resiliency and for your ability to grit your teeth and move forward. How did you get yourself to even do that? Because I'll be honest, there's a lot of people, myself included, I think that wouldn't have that ability. So
you don't
what?
have it until you have to.
Yeah.
You just everybody friends come up afterwards and say, I just can't imagine. And I remember saying that to somebody who had lost their mom when my mom was still here. I can't imagine what that would feel like. Well, it's the most unfortunate thing in the world, but right now I can imagine. I can imagine what it feels like to lose a mom. I can imagine what it feels like to lose a dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I can imagine what it feels like to lose my youngest son. And unless I want to let my own life go as well, I have to move forward. I have to get up and I have to there's a lot of days I didn't get up. There's a lot of days
Mm-hmm.
I just sat in bed when I was taking the course with you. I told you guys all in the middle of class that I struggled last week with just getting out of bed. And I was late showing up for class. My hair was a mess. I felt overweight and depressed and just a hot mess. But I showed up. And that
Yeah.
became the key to life is show up, be there. And
So,
then
like,
everything
how
else
did
is
you get
gonna,
connected to the program? I gotta know because,
right?
like, it's one thing to move forward, and it's another thing to be like, oh, I'm gonna go start a business, and I find this program and get into it. So, what
Right?
did that look like?
So that's more than a 180. That's a 360. You got to like go into a different world to get to that
Yeah.
point. So, all this time that I'm sitting at home in my bed on my iPad, I'm on Facebook and I'm looking on, post after post after post. And one of the girls that in my past life, I was a roller derby girl, and one
Hmm.
of the derby girls has gone out and started her own business, and she actually ran into like a pretty serious hiccup with starting this business, and she posted something about it on Facebook. So I'm not that person that jumps on Facebook and hits all those posts underneath. I go straight to the DMs, right? And I sent a message directly to her asking a few questions about, hey, how did you start a business? And first I helped her with, what I thought her problem was as far as the the federal help with the financial and everything. That's
Yeah, yeah,
kind of where she got kicked. And it's because she was on EI, and I'm like, hey, I went through that myself, and they automatically put you on CERB, and then you get lost in this pattern because it was their shortcut, and nothing will get you lost faster than a government shortcut. It's ridiculous, but true.
yeah.
If you've been there, you know. Yes.
Hmm.
So I got in touch with her and said, here's where I got lost, and thankfully somebody helped me through it, and maybe contact here at this number and see what they can do to help you. And she's like, thank you so much. And I'm like, so, you started a business. How'd you start the business? And then she in like kind of introduced me to ExecuServe, and she spoke with Jillian and on and on and on and on. And if I was smart, I'd pull up my phone and give her a little plug here real quick. Um, I'm doing that as we speak.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna ask who it
so
was too. I wanted to know.
okay, okay. I believe it is Black Magic Collective. I'm just gonna pull. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you, Jess? Okay, Jess Victoria. Yes, Black Magic Collective.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
yeah, yeah, she's hair and aesthetics. I believe they've also got tattoos in there.
Yeah,
And it sounds like a great business. I follow her every now and then on Facebook, so I can, kind of catch up with where everybody's at. And I don't Facebook creep too much, so I usually rely on Facebook's algorithm to pop people into my world. But so
yeah,
yeah, she
yeah,
introduced
totally.
me to ExecuServe, and um, I don't even think she gave me a number. She just gave me a name. So Google searched my way, found ExecuServe Plus,
Yeah,
and made a phone call. And of course, lovely Darlene at the other end gave me as much information as she could.
yeah.
And that was the beginning of the journey. Is just let's see what's here. And previously, as I'd mentioned with you, I have a friend who goes around and sells clothing, basically throws up a pop up shop inside the seniors' lodges and group residence homes. And a lot of her clients were asking for shoes, socks, slippers, footwear, just different sort of things in that sort of area for their personal needs.
Hmm.
And she and I chatted quite often, like probably 3, 4, 5 years worth of, that's a good idea. Somebody should do that.
Hmm.
So then when I contacted ExecuServe and, had this little idea in mind, I thought I'll follow through with the process of, the entrepreneur course and just see where it gets me. But of course, you start up at this and it's like you need an idea. You're
Yeah,
not just showing up at a course to gain knowledge. You are
yeah,
sharpening the tools that you've got. So then I sat down and thought, oh, I really need to make sure I'm on board with this before I, do I start a business? Do I not start a business? This is going to be exhausting, but um what else do I have in my life right now? My kids have grown up and moved on. My one has passed away, and starting a business is like, do you know what? This is really what did it. Starting a business is like having a baby, and I
hmm,
just lost one. And so I have room in my life for one. This could be what gets me out of bed every day. This could be what helps push me forward. You ask what did it? It wasn't just one thing. It was this might be a tool that helps get me there because I was still struggling.
wow.
So let's do it. Let's sign up. Let's get involved. Let's pretend I'm starting a shoe business. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
I did that. I did that in 2019 with a house purchase. My dad had passed away. I had inherited half of his money. My brother got the other half, and my son needed a place to live, and I thought, I've got this little pocket full of change sitting there. What if I
Mm-hmm.
got a mortgage on a house? What if I provided them a place to live? They're good at paying their rent. They do it for somebody else every month. Let them do
Mm-hmm.
it for me. Let's build that money that my dad gave me and turn it into something more tangible.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a house, they moved in, and I didn't just like jump up one day and buy a house. I started looking at things and seeing where it would lead me to in the event of when something stops me, then I take that as a no.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing when you start on this road to, I'm just going to walk down it until something stops me,
Mm-hmm.
how many times you get down that road unstopped.
Yeah,
There's
I love that.
challenges and there's challenges and there's little things along the way that will, you know, uh, make you refocus. But there's very little in life that will straight up dead stop you. And
And you
so
are
I got a
probably one of the most experienced people I know to be able to make that comment, that like you've seen pretty significant obstacles, but you've always found a way to move past, right? And
just
through or over whatever that looks like.
just keep going until something stops
Yeah.
you, and you will. I was stunned one day. I kind of woke up and I was like, oh my god, I now own not one house but two. I'm a single
Yeah.
mom. This is not something I had in my future. Owning a
Yeah.
business is not something I dreamed of. You hear about all
Yeah.
these people who are like, I'm meant to be an entrepreneur. I don't think I was. I was meant to be a
No.
single mom.
Yeah, totally.
I
Hey,
was
I
meant,
get that. I was pushed
yeah,
full hard, like I was pushed firmly in the back, right? To hey,
right, right.
get out there
You
absolutely, I get that. And I think
exactly.
what I love about you though is like even in this discussion of this house, right? And your business and what you wanted to build and coming into the program and how you did it. I'm a big believer, like I love entrepreneurs and I've talked to so many through my career, but what I always say is it's a verb, not a noun. It's a
Yes.
set of actions that you go through. And I always say entrepreneurs listen, they learn, and they leap. And so for you, it's like, hey, I've been listening and having these conversations for years. And a lot of people will go straight to that to execute. But you didn't. You
Hmm.
saw that, hey, there's this middle ground where maybe I can learn a little bit and you get connected in with ExecuServe. And I want to talk a little bit about the training there because it ties in well, I think, with our name, with the name of the episode and where the conversation's going. What was your biggest takeaway from the training and how did you kind of apply it to your business?
Right. So the biggest takeaway, as I'd mentioned, I kind of, life is a journey, and it kind of, I walk and I go where it leads me, and it led me to ExecuServe. So I sat down in this chair thinking, I've got a pretty good business idea, right? I'm just going to copy the model of the friend who's got the clothing business, but make it shoes. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sit here and I, I'm, I'm following what she does. So I kind of basically know it all. So these
Mm-hmm.
people who are sitting here in front of me with all this knowledge and experience and, you know, everything you need to run a business, they're kind of just time fillers because I think I know what I'm doing. And
Yeah,
then I sat
totally.
in the course. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's funny because a lot of people, when I talked to before the class started, sort of felt the same way. Like, I know my direction, I know what I'm doing. I just need everything to go exactly as it is in my head. Well, come on. If we've lived
Yeah.
life, we already know that
Yeah.
shit does not fall exactly as we see it in our head, right?
No,
It's
never
always going to
does.
go differently. No, it doesn't. So a business plan is going to go the exact same way. It's never going to go as you see it. So, but first day of class, I don't know that yet. I'm still convinced I know it all. So then I
Yeah.
sit through these classes and I run into these, I watched one of the people who showed up the first 2 days. He didn't show up on that third day. Some of those questions that they were asking us to answer were hard. And we hit these little roadblocks, cash flows. I
Yeah.
could not do a cash flow. Morley asked us to write one up, and everybody's like, it's so easy. It's just this and this and that. They even told me what to write. And I'm like, but I don't have projected numbers. Nobody's done this. So it's not that easy. It is a lot harder, and I can pull numbers, out of thin air, but how helpful is that going to be? Not
Yeah.
realizing doing it was what I needed to do. So
Can you say that one more
helpfulness,
time?
what did I just say?
Doing it is what I need to do.
Doing it
I
is what
think,
I needed to do. Yeah.
yeah. Can you expand on that? Because I think that's an important thing for people to understand?
I could, except I still didn't get it yet. I'll expand on it later when I get there. But at the point in my story, I still didn't get it. Doing it is what I wanted to do. So I sat there, and my daughter even told you, I'm the one that did her cash flows. I came home and I'm like, you need to help me with this because I don't get it. I don't understand where I'm going to pull these numbers from. So she literally pulled stuff out of thin air, put something together and said, there, it's cash flow. And I'm like, oh, that's just made up. That's what needed to happen. We needed to just do it. We needed to just fake it. And then I showed up in class, and that kind of pushed me through that day. And then the next day we ended up, maybe it was a day later, I can't remember exactly, but we met Linda. Linda with WOW. And,
So this is Linda Kavanagh with WOW Communications, and she's just top shelf. She's the best. I
was really hoping you would like fill in the holes on that, because I was like, Linda with WOW.
Yeah, absolutely.
Help me, Jason, be professional.
Linda,
awesome.
Cool. Linda Kavanagh with WOW Communications. Sorry, go ahead. Talk about Linda.
Yeah, Linda. I followed her on LinkedIn, and I looked into what she had to say, and she started us with this. Her part of the course was about branding and the sales aspect, and what is your unicorn? And I'm like, I have no idea, but I like unicorns, so let's follow through with this. And she gave us a fun little toy unicorn to set on our desk, and
I have it on my desk right in front of me right now, actually.
Isn't it the best?
Yeah.
So I gave mine to my daughter. She loves unicorns. So the daughter is also 24. I treat her like she's 8, but she's 24 now. So I took that unicorn concept, and for some reason this was an easy one. I didn't have to work at it. It came naturally, and it was just like, okay, what is my unicorn? My unicorn is my shoes. My unicorn is my ability to be mobile. And then as I did the exercises in class, the paperwork, the stuff that she was putting on the board and everything, it narrowed it down to, Denise, this is your unicorn. You don't just do shoes. Everybody can do shoes. You don't just bring stuff to them. Everybody can bring stuff to them. You're going to figure out what their need is, what they can afford to pay, and you're going to find a way to get that to them. That's how you're going to meet their needs. They're going to pay you for that. There's your service. That's your job. That's how you're going to make money. And so, yeah, it literally came to me in the middle of the class when I recognized what my unicorn was, drawing all those circles and realizing this little spot in the middle, that's what I'm going to do. But if I hit that sweet spot, that unicorn spot, look at all this other space around. There's staff members that are there. There's family that are there. All of a sudden now, by focusing on that senior, my target market has grown a little bit. And so my sales has the ability to expand if I find this one focal point. And that is today what my business is every time I show up to a trade show, every time I talk to a manufacturer, a supplier, or an agent, I am asking them straight up, what do you have that meets this need, that's in this price range, that, by the way, is these color sets, because these ladies are very specific with the color of shoes that they'll wear. And when I find what they've got available, I sit down and I decide, will I wear it? Will they wear it? Will they buy it from me? And that tells me whether or not I'm going to bring it in. And as I've shared with you, some of the stuff that doesn't come into that little target range is still selling quickly, easily, and they love it. So
and I love that
it's
idea.
A learning process.
That's what you learn, and you talk to these customers, and and when you think about it, like shoes, and same even with my business, that idea of competitive advantage and like what do you do is, I think, even more important, because there are alternatives out there, right? But you've created something that, like, you're so busy right now, Denise. You're constantly on the move, right? As a result of the fact that you've kind of found, hey, you can't be everything to everyone, right? You found what makes you a shoenicorn, right?
Yes, there's a lot of there's many seniors that actually need special orthopedic. The needs that they have with their feet are huge. So I can reach a certain percentage of them. There's some clients that come up to me and they say, I really want to buy something. I really want to be able to help support you. And I have to tell them, I really want you to do that, but your feet are far more important than me making a little bit of money.
Hmm.
They're at a point now where if they wake up and their feet hurt, they're having a bad day. That is
Absolutely.
not for me to profit off of. They need to get the proper care. So I get in touch with whoever, is at the location that we're at and let them know this is what they're going to need. This is the direction they should go in, contact with a doctor, get in touch with somebody who makes shoes. And, it's going to cost them, but I mean, they're willing to spend $300 or $400 with me. Go get yourself a custom pair of shoes made because
Hmm.
that's going to meet your foot's needs.
Hmm.
Anything I sell is not in that. I don't have the kind of money to
Yeah,
carry that sort of an inventory where it's $300 or $400 for a pair of shoes.
totally.
So they need to go somewhere else. If I can meet their needs, and most of those ladies, they'll go and find themselves a bag or a purse or a wallet or something just to help support me because I'm I'm interested in helping them take care of their health and take care of their feet.
Yeah.
That's really what the most important thing is helping these seniors um, enjoy their life,
That, and I love,
right?
like, when you say that, you said, you help them first. Like, you talk about the outcome to them, and, like, yeah, there are shoes there, but you really and you actually believe this and execute on it, right? That you, like,
I
and you've
really
told me
do
this
believe it.
before, where you've sat there and had conversations for 45 minutes because someone just wanted to
Hours
sit,
upon
and yeah.
hours spent learning their, but my maybe it's because I lost my own parents. I loved sitting with my grandma when she was here, and my grandma had a sister. I called her Aunt Jen. She was, of course, my mother's aunt and a second aunt to me. And I
Hmm.
spent hours just talking to them. The knowledge that these people have, the life that they have
Yeah.
to pass on to me. I'm in a place where I could use that. And my parents have passed, my grandma has passed, my aunt has passed. And here's these people who are, I see them as gold. This is our, like, it's not just our future, it's our past. It's
Hmm.
both rolled into one. And they've got all that knowledge, all that wisdom, all that life, all that compassion on my hard days when, I wake up and I think, I don't have a son. How am I going to do this? I go out there and they share with me their own losses. They build me up when I'm breaking down and
I
they
love
don't
that.
leave me there.
I
They
love
don't
that.
leave me there. They put me in a place where I can keep walking and keep moving forward. And I feel connected to these people because of how much they give back. And I feel like I'm taking it all personally, but they give back to our society so
Yeah,
much.
totally.
And yeah, they deserve to
Agreed.
have somebody come around to help them with what they need. And sometimes their families are so busy. If you're in that position where you have, seniors in your life, take that time out and go spend some time with them, get to know them, hear what
Absolutely.
they have to say, listen to that same story 10, 12 times over because they love telling that story.
Yeah,
It's worth it because yeah, these people are, in my opinion, they're magic. They're just
I love it.
amazing. So
I love it.
yeah.
I wanna go to the advice, kind of like almost like an advice piece, and taking what you've talked about, and maybe I'm an entrepreneur out there right now struggling with this piece of finding that uniqueness. What is
hmm
that piece of advice that you would maybe pass on to them?
What I would get in touch with Linda. Oh my goodness. I would
Yeah.
actually get in touch with ExecuServe and look into this course. Because if you've got questions, that's a great place to finance it. That's what I came to ExecuServe with, was questions. What if I want
Mhm.
to do this? And again, I had to be in a little bit better headspace where I'm going to do this. Let's see what's going to stop me. And that's almost what it is a challenge. Let's see what stops me. That's how I got the house. That's how I got this business. I'm going to start
Mhm.
on this road and I have this focus and I'm just going to keep going forward until something stops me. And again, things just don't stop you. There are very few no's out there. Find what you want to do, find your focus, and start moving towards it. And ExecuServe really helped me with my focus. It really helped direct me with where I needed to go to get to where I was thinking of going. And again,
Hmm.
it really was just a thought of, I think I might go here. Um, then I got to a stage where it's like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I've already taken the course. There's nothing to lose now. While I was in the middle of the course, I ended up at a trade show and I did some purchasing. Stuff's
Hmm.
coming to me. I've got the product. I should probably work at selling that now.
Yeah.
So just keep going forward until something stops you. Even if you don't end up, I, I don't know if I'm where I pictured myself being when I did this course, but where I am is a pretty great picture. So, yay,
Yeah.
right? Like
Absolutely.
just
Absolutely.
keep going forward and see where you end up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
It's
think
it's like
that's
there's a book called The Gap Gain Mentality, and it talks about the idea of we are so likely to look at where we wanted to be and where we're at now and only see the gap between them. And we never tend to just look back at where we were and where we're at now and look at the gains that we've gotten and understand the kind of holy moly, look at what I've done, right? Look at where I'm at.
looking looking back is big, right? Hindsight is 2020. So
Yeah.
looking at where you were, looking at what you've learned, looking at where it's brought you. Um, and I also think, I mean, I'm what am I? In 2022. So I'm 52 now, and I used to look at life like it was a picture. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to go. And now I look at it. So, can I explain this? If you look at a painting, I used to look at myself as in front of the painting, trying to get into it. I'm officially in the painting now, and I'm looking at what's on the other side. And it's not clear. It's a lot of colors, it's a lot of streaks. It's more of a path of won't
Hmm.
it be interesting to see where it takes me? And now
Yeah.
it's just that journey. It's going to take me somewhere and I'm going to enjoy the ride because you never know where you're going to end up at. You really don't.
I love it. I think that that is the perfect note to end the podcast on, is that idea of you don't ever know where the journey is going to go. And you got to enjoy that ride. And I have loved this conversation, Denise. If someone does want to get a hold of you and your business for any reason, I think actually this is the first time we made it through without actually mentioning your business name or anything like
Oh
that.
my
So
goodness.
I know. So I'm going to give you like a 30-second plug. Talk really
That's
quickly about your business.
That's hilarious. The business, it actually came from one of my dear friends. Her husband came up with the name, and I heard it, and I'm like, you know what? That's it. Business name is If the Shoe Fits. And then we can end that so many different ways. If the shoe fits, buy one of every color, buy one of every size, buy six, buy 12, buy one for your friend. Yeah, no, I love the name. If you need to get in contact with me, it is usually best to do it by email. It is all lowercase, if the shoe fits, no spaces in between, .info, info at gmail.com. We are 100% mobile, so I don't have a brick and mortar location. I am based out of my home. My number is area code 403-393-7563. That goes directly to my cell, and yeah, it's just fun having my own business and living the life and heading out there every single day, helping people find stuff that fits their feet and makes their feet happy.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Denise. And we'll be talking to everyone real soon. If you or anyone that you know could benefit from the self-employment training program, please connect them with us or ExecuServe Plus. The best way probably is to visit the Albertapreneur website or just call ExecuServe at 403-320-5604. One of the things that I'm fond of saying is that an entrepreneur does, on average, 7 jobs in their business. One of those is marketing, but it's something that business owners struggle with, especially in the digital age. So if you need assistance, the Digital Service Squad may be able to help you out. Available to business organizations all across Alberta, as long as you're registered in the province, have between 0 and 49 employees, the Digital Service Squad will connect you with experts one-on-one and pay for up to 5 hours of support, whether it's search engine optimization, website design, social media marketing, or an overall overview of what you do for that digital side of your business. If you're in the Lethbridge region and you're interested in the Digital Service Squad, you can go to Community Futures Lethbridge website, fill out a form, and get connected with those experts today. You don't have to go it alone.